believe Marty stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamiroir's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. And Marty practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant. Lamiroir's song? Yes, the guitar serenade. You noticed it's code too, did you not? It's code? All of the events that day followed the lyrics to our song. First, the keys my heart held on to so tightly were stolen. Then the prosecutor's Gavin guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. LaChesse's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation. Guitar and guitar, up together to the sky. That's mad! It's like a story out of some fairy tale. I admit, I forgot about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me. The grand finale, as it were. Hey, you know what? I was the one who first noticed that. I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs. But killing? It's a wild world out there, that's... Very well. We've heard one song and dance. Let's get on to the next. The cross-examination. I'm not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing. I believe Monty stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamiroir's song. No one in this country had a motive to kill the victim. And Monty practically left his signature at the scene. Hold it! What do you mean by his signature? The bullet holes in the wall, of course. The bullet holes? The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall. That means what exactly? That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would be difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range. Difficult to miss, you say? Very. Assuming the shooter could probably aim. No! You can't be serious! Hachi, he can't see! That's why he missed? It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Only ideal conditions for tracking by sound. Blind shooter. No wonder he missed. You will come back to haunt me. Justice, what do I do now? Sir, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Ooh, how so? Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim. That's certainly possible. And it might have been the revolver's fault. The revolver? The revolver was a very large caliber, correct? The shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon. Why, it can dislocate their shoulder. Exactly. The defendant, Marty Tobai, is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off his aim. A convincing argument, to be sure. Haha! Take that, smug prosecutor! Apollo? Huh? What? That bit about Marty being tiny and the gun throwing off his aim. Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Oh. It does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was without a doubt the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. Ah! Christ, I only put my foot in it this time. Put the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Flulan detective. Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony. Why? From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. Objection! The prosecution holds that the shooter couldn't see? A scientific conclusion based on a thorough examination of the crime scene? Yes. Apparently not thorough enough. I have a certain piece of evidence that completely overturns your claim. What? This is that evidence! A photograph of the crime scene? I don't care much for the smoke on Prosecutor Gavin's face. This is no time to think twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There's something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point. Then perhaps you'll show us this something. Get your fingers out of the breeze and put it to good use, y'all. Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction at the scene of the crime? Take that! The contradiction is right here. Smeared bloodstains? I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry? The way the victim's hand is raised above his head. It's a gesture I have seen many times in this court. It shows as if he wrote something. Aha! I get it. At least I think I get it. It's right, Fula. When Mr. Latroche was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write in it but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here. There seems to be a distinct possibility. Victim wrote the killer's name. It's certainly a logical conclusion. Drat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that. Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Neither would I. No one has anything else to say? About what? So the prosecution accepts this. You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And that the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know that the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Trust was writing something in blood. Once the killer saw what it was... Wait. Once he saw what it was? But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said... They were blind. Ah! Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had to have been able to see. Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? Ah! No! I remind the court that the defendant, Mati Tobai, is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible! Please explain to me what all this means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet, up until now... It seems I owe the court an apology. Huh? The girl veneers all abandoned law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred. Tolling our concept apparently just caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were notified in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey, Apollo, Look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us. I've got an idea. Let's lock with these documents. But before that, I have a question for the full-on detective. If I may? What? Tell me, why do you think that Matsutoba is blind? Huh? What did he say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course? He's the blind pianist, right? So he's... Doesn't Lamiroir lead him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant Matsutoba. According to this, Matsutoba can see perfectly well. What? His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Bulgarians. He can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Little forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did that was the full-on detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Matsutoba sees. And he was one who would have fled through the air vent. I see no problems with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe Ilfo had neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the 45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. Ugh. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Ilfo. Ah! I really didn't have a lot to talk. You jerk! What was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize! Oh, sorry. That's no way to apologize! He's angered the Trucy now. Look out! If we can please end the bickering now. Whatever. I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solving this case if it kills me. But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant. Don't say that. What? This bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That seems to be what happened, yes. You might be able to find out what was really written here. Really? You can do that? That's right. With this. It's called luminol. Maybe you know of it. It's a chemical that reacts to blood. Ah, yes. Have we done those tests yet? As if I'm going to tell you. The bloodstains cover the section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, that section was removed in said minutes. Perhaps we should request it here in court now. Right, go for it, Apollo. Huh? I have to do the test. You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple. A chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard of this somewhere. Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it. Right, ready? It's easy as pie. Just press the button to spray an area. Here, give it a try. Eyes of the entire court are focused on me. Apollo, your hand's shaking. Let's do this. It really works. This must be the power of science. It says IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name? Maybe it is. If the killer was a robot, I have it. So what is it? I thought those letters IPXX looked familiar. This is an Interpol ID number. Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency? Yes, most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes. Why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Letras even know a number like that? Good self, Roland Detective. Lock on. Huh? Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Alien, are you there? Come up to the witness stand. Alien, you heard what we need. Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27. I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet this number is really that of an Interpol agent. Oh, wait, I know. What if Marty Tabai is really an undercover Interpol agent? That would be a possibility. A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain. Why didn't you trust know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know. Well, we have some time while we wait the alien's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Marty Tabai. What are you talking about? Hold Detective, please accept my apologies. I received word that the defendant could in fact see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until that last bit. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, so, why did Marty pretend he couldn't see? Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, Old Forehead? Huh? Me? Tabai pretended he was blind. Do you know why? How could he know? Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he? He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time. Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is some kind of game? And at the moment I heard that report, I knew why. I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else. What does that have to do with anything? There was a reason why Tabai pretended to be blind. If it wasn't for his own sake, getting the picture now? It wasn't for himself. Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had some fake blindness? He had no reason to pretend he couldn't see, which means, no, it couldn't be. Good so, Forehead. It seems you thought of something. Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I have to take my cues from this guy. Very well. Look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see. Take that! That is Lamiroir. Lamiroir and Marty Tabai. We'll call the relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. Lamiroir and her pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind. She led him at all times, never letting him go. All times? Yet, we have just learned something that makes the arrangement particular indeed. Marty could see! Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time? Well, wasn't it part of their, performance? I think there's a simpler explanation. Marty did not need to be led by the hand at all. That could only mean one thing. Ah! Ah! Willie? Willie, it was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Lamiroir. What's this? So you mean to say that Lamiroir is... she's... Yes, Your Honor. Lamiroir is blind. Huh? What? This is crazy, Prosecutor Galvin. Is it now? Please shed some sanity on this madness. The defense has made an outrageous claim. The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is his vast forehead. Yet I see this not vast in vain this time. He's quite correct. But that makes no sense. Yeah, was he supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her here, why not ask the mirror herself? I believe she is still in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see. I didn't even imagine it until now. Bailiff, bring in Lamiroir. Lamiroir? It pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way, and yet I must. Please do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, see what he can't see. Really? It is true. How funny it is that a tiny lad born in the Bologinian countryside, but when they grow to entangle the entire world. So you are. Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamiroir. Know too that my memories began in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamiroir. I see. You may recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial, ill forehead. What's that? I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witness. Huh. Now, Lamiroir, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor? Yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here. I think we're all a bit lost here, Your Honor. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others. But this is a murder trial. I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret no matter what. Music is everything for me, and I never imagined something like this would. She told us the truth in the beginning, and she said she saw nothing. Very well. Does the defense have anything to add? I'd like to cross-examine. But what is there left to ask? There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me. Perhaps it is best that you get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself. Very well. The defense may proceed. However, be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness. Okay. There's only one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy. I have no
memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. Sincerely as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone and myself knew, of course, but no others.
Hold it!
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latrous? Of course, he was my manager. So he knew, and that's what's been bugging me. Something the matter, Mr. Justice. I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes? Is he right, Apollo? Yes, I was. He's alive. Mr. Latrous, can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help us on the way. Hang in there, Mr. Latrous. Tell me, who is the witness? Mr. Latrous asked the witness, and he named you. Why would he do that? He knew you were blind. I don't know. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself? Meaning what? There is no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness, Siren. I've heard them many times, along with a little play acting by our defense. I remember them well myself. That statement is not to what I refer. I meant what you said before that. Before? Okay, before that. Ah! That's right. He tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness. I see. Defense did not. Well, in the forehead. Try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time. Ah. Order! Recall Lamiroir's earlier testimony. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. I could do anything to stop it. Could have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Trust's witness tore through the window. Why else would he have named her as the witness? Ah, but I really did hear them. 2 gunshots. And the man's voice. Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. With all what you want is simulation, of course. But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant. Your Honor, what is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in a session here? We have the results back from the investigation. Investigation? The Interpol number that Mr. Latrous left us. Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescent, your report, please. Ask Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing. Look, book as always, Delia. Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent? IPXX314206. The agent listed under this number was Romian the Trouse. What? Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latrouse himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation. So, when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity. And the cautious killer tried to wipe them away. Mr. Latrouse was an undercover Interpol agent? So him being Lamiroir's manager was just a cover, most likely. There's one other important detail I found. Well, out with it! It turns that 45 caliber revolver, the motor weapon. Apparently it belonged to Romy Latrouse. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms. The registration number on the revolver matched. The victim was killed with his own weapon. Which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who was the Interpol agent with such a large revolver. The victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op? I don't know how that ties into everything. It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Hold it. Wait. Lamiroir? Is something the matter? That voice just now.
Darien? Mr. Darien, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it. It was him? You aren't saying? That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latrouse when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien. Is this some kind of joke? What? No way. Colton Burns is such a chaotic state. So I had to be suspended temporarily. I've never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Lamiroir, Finger and Darien Crescent? Not only is he a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice Lamiroir heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey, no wimping out now, Apollo!